Joining us now in our studio here outside of Parliament is the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. It's Ronald Lamola. Minister, good afternoon to you and thank you for joining us. You get, I think, 1.1 billion rand in the budget. That's for you and for the National Prosecuting Authority. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think it will help to alleviate the situation and also to lay the basis to be able to implement the recommendations of the Zondo report to strengthen the work of the NPA and also in terms of the modernization of the criminal justice system.
There's been a lot of concern about a lack of resources for the NPA and for the Hawks. I realise the Hawks will come under the Police Ministry, but we know that the NPA needs more prosecutors and, may I say, highly experienced prosecutors. How are we going to attract those people if we don't get the money that we need?
Yeah, hence the National Treasury has come on board to help us in terms of the increasing of that budget to us, and also will obviously impact into the increase of the budget of the NPA. And we think that it will be able to help us for the next one up until about 3 years.
There's been some suggestions there should be a private companies. Some private organisations have said they want to give money to the NPA. In a way, it's a very interesting conversation. It's a very complicated conversation. There are ways to do it so there'll be no interference. Are you looking at that? Where are you standing on that at the moment? Because I can see different people are going back and forth.
Yeah, obviously we are looking at it. There is a procedure that business has always participated in the fight against crime in the country through business against crime, where the institutions, they don't know who has put the resources and so forth. So we're looking at all the procedures there, but we do think that this budget increase will really help in that direction, even if we may still need some help, but it may be minimal, not at the level and scale we would have wanted before this budget.
And I'm sure you feel this. I mean, if you listen to talk radio for a minute, if you read, anything, you will know that people are feeling that criminals are getting away with it, that the state's almost losing control. How do you respond to that? You are the Minister of Justice.
Yeah, hence this strengthening of the criminal justice cluster. As you have heard, the Minister did not only speak about the money to justice. In addition, he also spoke about the police. It's a relay effect. If you give resources to the police, it also goes that there will be increase of responsibility for the NPA. There will also be increase of responsibility for the judiciary and also for the correctional services. So it has that relay effect. And I think the Minister has done some kind of work to help us to help the criminal justice cluster as a whole. And I think that will help us in a great deal in the whole cluster, the police, the NPA, and the entire cluster to strengthen the efforts in the fight against crime.
We have had 2 sections of the Zondo Commission report being released. There's another one still to come. There'll be a comprehensive response led by the President. But there's still the sense that no one's being charged. Now, I realise the technicalities. We saw some of them in court in the Ace Magashule case. I don't know if you have a comment on the Ace Magashule case, Minister. No. But what we do have is a situation where people feel that we've seen the findings. We've seen even, I'm afraid, one of your cabinet colleagues is among the people who there was a finding, not a criminal finding, but a finding against her. It feels that no one's doing anything.
Yeah, I think people are justified to be concerned, but I don't think it's correct or accurate to say nothing is being done, because as you are saying, there are already cases before court. It's Estina, as you have said, the other one you have referred to, the Bosasa matter. There is also lots of cases within the SAPS that are before the courts. So there are a lot of cases that are there. There is also work with regards to the Gupta family in that regard. So there is work, but I agree it is not enough. There is a need to, with these resources, it will help the law enforcement agencies to up their game and also to increase the work that they have to do.
There's also, of course, across government there have been problems with money, and we know why, because of the pandemic. I mean, even the Basic Education Department didn't get as much money last year as it got the year before. Some of that's being sorted out. But generally speaking, as a member of Cabinet, you will have had a Cabinet meeting today. The country's financial situation, people are very worried about it. People are worried that we don't have enough money. Government debt is rising. How's Cabinet feeling about it?
Yeah, obviously, I think the budget speech does highlight some of the challenges, but it also shows that there was an increase in the collection of revenue, which has enabled the minister not to raise tax and also to distribute to relieve some of the departments like ourselves that they have now relieved, and the police and even Home Affairs with huge immigration issues that they are dealing with, the border capacitation. So it does show that at least there is some positive work that is coming out of the economic recovery plan.
You talk about justice for people implicated in state capture in the Zondo Commission. You say there's work there. What we don't see at the moment are prosecutions for what happened in the violence in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng last year. I'm talking about the riots. I'm talking about the violence that we saw for so long. In fact, what we sometimes see is different cabinet ministers. I'm talking about the police minister. I'm talking about the now public services and administration minister, the former state security administration minister, having sort of different views on this. And we see this at the Human Rights Commission inquiries. Is Cabinet divided on what happened? Are you expecting people to face consequences for what happened last year?
Yes, there must be consequences. Where there are facts and evidence, the President has said that it must be followed through. The law must take its course, irrespective of who was involved. And I think the law enforcement agencies, they will be able with time to be able to announce to the country on many of these matters, updates, how far they are, and what is the progress.
So are you expecting progress then? We've got a country where people feel that the state is incapacitated in various ways, partly through corruption. You've mentioned that there'll be consequences for that. Do you then have hope that South Africa is going to get better? And there's a very tight election coming up in 2024 for you.
Yeah, definitely. There is hope that it will get better. And I think the action yesterday by the police in Rosettenville is a clear action sign that things are beginning to come together in the police service, in the NPA, and also with the whole criminal justice cluster. And as I've said, even the support to Home Affairs on some of the border issues, which will impact heavily on the immigration challenges that we are facing. So I think the budget does signal that we are turning the corner.